Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Can you imagine waiting 10 years to get screened for cancer? On average, people with mental health issues experience a 10-year delay between symptoms and seeking help, and close to 2/3 of mental illnesses go untreated. Hearts for Minds promotes healthy lives by promoting mental health education, facilitating early identification, and connecting people to treatment. Are you ready to learn more? Go to heartsforminds.org. That's hearts, the number 4, minds.org for more information or to learn how you can help.
Welcome to Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast urging you to let it go and don't look back, with nationally acclaimed professional organizer Christine Stone and self-proclaimed hot damn mess radio and TV personality Eden Kendall.
Welcome everybody to Uncluttered and Unfiltered with Eden and Christine. And we are recording this on a day that the Golden Bachelor series finale has not yet aired, but when you hear this, it will have. So we are actually going to add on to this particular episode at the end. So stick around because we're definitely going to be covering the final episode of the series, The Golden Bachelor first and ever. But this particular episode, we're going to start off talking about some things that fall under your umbrella, the organizing umbrella.
Yes,
You came across an article about things that should be decluttered this time of year.
Well,
And-
since this is in my wheelhouse, it wasn't really so much stuff I didn't already know.
Right.
But I picked my top 11 things.
Oh, wow.
that should be
Okay.
decluttered out of your home. I would say as soon as possible.
All right.
I mean, and Christmas is still a while away. Even though we've taped this, there's still plenty of time. And it's always nice to start this before the new year because everyone waits till the new year. And my philosophy on getting organized is not just doing it in January. It's something you need to stay on top of the whole entire year. It just makes life easier and creates a calm, simplified space in your home. So staying on top of the decluttering and not waiting for just the month of January just makes life easier.
Okay. So where are we starting with this?
Well, of course, we're going to start in the closet.
Okay.
I mean, that's
Let me roll up
given.
my figurative sleeves here. All right.
So the first thing on my list of things you should declutter from your home now is clothes and shoes that do not fit or you don't wear anymore. And with the holidays coming, people get new clothes and they don't get rid of things they never wear. And it's a recipe for just a cluttered closet. So now's the time to grab a few things that you never wear, that you don't like, don't fit you, shoes that hurt your feet. You know, maybe it's belts that, you know, you can't even belt anymore or you don't like, or they're out of style. Getting rid of these items so that the new items you buy, you'll have plenty of space in your closet.
What better time is there? Because if you think about it, when you've given us instructions on decluttering your closet, it always ends with you making a list to figure out which things you need.
Yes.
So if you're getting rid of things, now is a great time because people are literally asking you to present them with a list of things you need.
Right. So do you need new underwear? Do you need socks? Do you things that make great stocking stuffers? So anything that you are asking for, say you want a new pair of jeans, look at some of your older jeans. Do you wear them? Are they out of style? Are they low rise? And now you only wear high rise, whatever it may be. Now is the time to declutter your closet.
Mm-hmm. Especially now because you've got to make room to hide gifts in there.
Yeah. Well, that too. That too. The second thing is, which also is important all year round, but especially around the holidays, is expired food in your pantry. If there are items in your pantry that are expired or items that you never use that you intended to use, donate to a food bank or let them go in the garbage because there are so many people coming, you're entertaining, you're having company, you're cooking dinners. And if you are keeping all this old stuff, there's no room for the actual things that you're buying to make for the meals that you're cooking throughout the month of December. So that is something I tackle every week. Right before garbage day, I always tackle the pantry, the refrigerator. It just staying on top of it just makes cooking time and packing lunches and anything to do with food. It makes it so much easier.
Okay. Agree.
The next thing on the list is corded appliances that you do not use.
Okay.
Do you know what those are?
When you say corded appliances you do not use, are you talking about things like the donut maker? Somebody thought would be a great. I was just going to
say that.
Okay.
The ice cream maker, the donut maker, the rice cooker, the gadget you saw on late night TV that you thought was great, but you never used it. All those items that when I go into clients' houses, they never use them. They haven't used them in years. And I always ask the same question because I always think maybe I'll get a different answer, but I never do. Why do you still have it if you never, ever use it? And it's just taking up valuable real estate in your pantry or in your kitchen where you could be putting items that you do want that you will use. So definitely any corded appliance, now is a good time to donate them, give them to your sister. If your sister wants the donut maker, getting rid of those items.
So if you've only just realized that a grilled cheese works as well as a panini maker, then you can get rid of the panini maker. Okay.
I love that. The next thing you're probably thinking, why is she even bringing this up? But I see it so much all the time, and that's books and DVDs. People think because we're in the digital age, nobody owns these items anymore. But I can't tell you how many homes I go into and people have stacks of DVDs, yet they don't have a DVD player. Okay. Stacks upon stacks of books that they've read, some even twice. And thinning out your books, because people that still like to read hard copies always get more books. And also, if you only read on a Kindle or an iPad or whatever you read on, why do you need all these books? Mm-hmm. You could be using your shelves for other items that you could be displaying, things that you really want to display. So DVDs and books, thin them out. Just really, the DVDs, if you do not have a DVD player. You
can't even get a laptop with a DVD in it anymore.
So let them go. Donate them.
Sure.
The next thing is skincare and makeup that is expired or you don't use. And I have to tell you, in the TikTok, Instagram age that we're in now, I can't tell you how many people are buying things just to try it, and then they try it and it either breaks them out or it gives them a rash or whatever it is, but they don't let them go. They still keep them. Or items, makeup that's expired, eye cream that's expired. They do expire and they spoil, and they'll get they'll turn a different color or they'll smell bad. So now, especially before the holidays, it's so important, because how many things do you get, whether they're stocking stuffers or items that are new makeup, new skincare. So going through and really doing a super, super cleansing of those items throughout the year, but especially now.
Okay. And nail polish is clumpy and gross and will not stay.
Right. Or you can't open it because it's like glued itself shut.
Mm-hmm. If you have to use the hairdryer to get it to loosen up and open it, it's probably too old, which, by the way, is a good hack, but it's probably too old.
Right. Exactly. Old towels and linens. Well, now you're having guests. So the linens that have holes in them, that the corners are stretched out, that don't really fit the bed anymore, or they've seen better days in general. Now is the time to get rid of them. Veterinarians love all these old linens. They use them. Same with, places for homeless pets. Any place like that will take all your old linens because they need them. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to feel bad about getting rid of them. And that way you can buy new, clean linens without holes, without stains, and blankets and what other items that are in your linen closet. So tackle the linen closet before the company arrives.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. Dead plants. How many of you out there are like, oops, someone came and saw my house? I see so many dead plants. And I know everyone hopes to revive them because that's the feedback I get. I'm going to revive it. I'm going to bring it back to life. But when you have people coming over to your house, do you want people seeing all your dead plants? I just think it's it's bad karma to have dead plants in your house. I don't know. Maybe it's just me or the organizer in me, but having new fresh flowers, plants that are brand new, an orchid, something simple that maybe you can't kill, which for me is not much because I kill everything.
Cactus.
Yeah, cactus, succulent, exactly, because then at least it won't die
immediately.
But really going through and doing a hard look at what do you have around that, just isn't bringing good energy into your house. And if it's a lot of dead plants everywhere, you don't think it'll make a difference, but I'm 100% telling you it will make a very big difference.
Right now, somebody is listening to this and they don't think they have a dead plant because they don't see it anymore, because they've seen it every day as it declines. Yep. And they're going to go by the windowsill today and be like, oh my gosh, I do have a dead plant in here.
Exactly what you said.
And it's scaring your other plants, quite frankly.
And I mean, when you have company come over, there you have a dead plant in your windowsill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know everybody has good intentions and they want to revive them, but sometimes it's time to just let it go, as we say many times here on this podcast.
Let that plant go and don't look back at it.
Exactly. Tools and gardening equipment. I see so many multiple screwdrivers, hammers, tape measures. I can't tell you how many tools I see. And people will change their living situation. They'll downsize, but they'll bring 700 screwdrivers with them. Or, so now is the time throughout the year. What do you need in a toolkit? Think about it. Unless you are a woodworker, you're a carpenter out there in your garage really building things, what do you need to keep in your toolbox? Usually they're basic things: a screwdriver, a hammer, different screwdriver heads. That you can get those little toolkits anywhere. At IKEA for dirt cheap, comes all in one, and then you can get rid of the rest and have one toolkit that everyone knows where it's at, and you pull it out when you need it and put it back when you're done. Also, garden equipment. So many people have tons of gardening equipment and they don't garden. I'll say, oh, are you a gardener? No. Oh, how come you have all the watering cans and the hedge trimmers and the rakes? I don't know. I had them a long time ago. I just never got rid of them. Now's the time. Let it go. Let it go. Make your garage a place that you can park your car in the winter. That is always the goal. People leave their cars out in the middle of the driveway and you'll say, oh, you have two other cars in there or another car in there. No, just junk in my garage. So really always taking something out of the garage and making room for what you really need. And when I see people decluttering their homes, it always ends up in the garage. And I've talked about this here before. And then your garage becomes a dumping ground for everything you don't want in your house, but you don't get rid of it. So now is the time, seriously, to be tackling that garage if you live in the South, because the weather's beautiful and nobody wants to do it in Florida in the summer or anywhere that it gets really, really hot in the summer. It's just not going to happen.
If it's a full calendar year and it's something that's been in the garage and you didn't even bring it into the house to use it one time, it's more than likely, and I'm a hypocrite because I'm jumping on saying that, but I bet I could find something in my garage that if it's not seasonal, but you just don't use it all year.
Right.
It's, although I have to say that we are the envy of, or the disdain of the neighborhood, because we can park both cars in our garage. My husband is a stickler about that.
Love that.
And when we first moved in, a lot of people would stop by and be like, you and your garage, you're making my wife all, get all over me because of it. But it's true though. If you aren't seeing it for a year, it's hidden away in your garage and you didn't miss it.
Yep.
You can buy a new one if you need it.
Right. Exactly. Okay. The next thing I'm going to talk about pertains with right now, or you've probably already started the process, and that is holiday decorations that are broken that you don't use. When I clear out ornaments in my own house or get ready to decorate, I always have a donate pile. I usually donate them to the homeless shelter. There are so many places you can donate older Christmas items. But if you are not using them, or you're like, God, what was I thinking when I decorated the tree that year with this kind of theme? Let them go and really box up and label the containers, so that the following year, you'll know exactly what's in the containers. It will be labeled, and you'll only be keeping the items that you really want year after year. And it takes time to do that. It's really hard to do. And most people don't do it until they downsize. So it's so important to only box up and label items that you use every year, or that you really, really want to see put up in your house during the holidays.
Interesting you would say that, because I'm certain that every year when we decorate the tree and whatnot, there are a number of ornaments that stay in the bin.
Yep.
Because we never take them out. We never think about donating those. They just live at the bottom of that bin, and then we put everything back on top of them. Yes.
Every year.
Every
and you're
year.
not alone. Many, many, many people do that.
I also might say, this kind of flies in the face of what you're saying, because you certainly don't need to hang on to things that are broken, but some things are worth fixing. And having the glue gun out and ready when we unpacked our stuff this year was really helpful, because there were a few things that maybe the hooks had fallen off and we were ready to go to get those ready to hang. Again, they were things we wanted to keep.
Right.
But we, in past years, weren't at the ready. We put them aside. We're like, oh, we'll get those fixed in time. And then we never hung them.
Right.
So we had the glue gun out and ready to go this year. And that was very helpful.
Oh, that's great. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I've just so pared down at this stage of my life. I mean, a lot. And I think as people get older and their kids grow up and have their own kids and have their own families and their own traditions, it ends up happening over when you're over 50, 55, that you really start thinning out. You give some to your own children so that they can have some memories for their family. You don't have a tree that's as big because you don't have the celebrations, whatever the family that you normally had over. Times change. Things are different, and keeping items just to keep them just takes up space that you could be using for something else. So
it frees space in your mind and in your heart to treasure the treasurable items even more.
Yes, I agree. The next thing is electronic devices and cords that you no longer use.
That's a tough one.
Well, how many cords do you have that you don't know what the heck they go to?
It's insane.
Exactly. And you're not alone. And there are donation drives for electronic equipment, old phones, old laptops, old iPads, old VCRs, old TVs. You just have to Google in your area where they are, but they're always around. And there's also places, if you have smaller items, you can just send them in, go online, and
they'll send you the box.
They'll send you all the postage paid. So don't keep them yourself. And the cords, if you don't know what that cord goes to, get rid of it, because they all just end up in one big box, a tangled mess. And they say, I'm going to go through that box. I'm going to do it. And it never happens. So you have your phones. So you know what cords go to your own phones. You have your iPads or any kind of small iPad. You get the cords that go with those items and let the rest go. Label your cords.
The items like the iPads that are so outdated that no current apps go on them. Your friends that have 2-year-old grandkids that come to visit may want to have those around, because the kids will watch some cartoons or things on it, but you can't do much more with those. You can't do any of the most recent apps on them. Their iOS is stuck.
Exactly.
So, but there are kids that will play like Reader Rabbit games on them at some age. So you'll find somebody who no doubt can use it.
Oh, absolutely. And if you donate them, they'll find so many, children in need that could use those items. But just knowing, if you go in your home office today or in an area where, your junk drawer is, just take 5 minutes and you'll see how much space all these cords are taking up. And the last thing is expired medications. I can't tell you how many medicine cabinets, drawers in a bathroom, drawers in a, area in the linen closet that have tons of expired medications. Go through, gather them all in a bag, bring them to your pharmacy, and they will just get rid of them for you. Keeping expired medications is just a waste of space because everybody needs new nose spray, new, cough medicine. So you're going to need new of it anyway. Why not get rid of it and start this year really taking one small space at a time and decluttering?
Now, on that note of decluttering, we're about to declutter a giant portion of our brain as the Golden Bachelor has wrapped up with its final episode. So now, as promised, let's declutter that mess.
Yeah.
And we're back. It's a whole week later, and we have now both witnessed the garbage dumpster fire that was the season finale of The Golden Bachelor. We now know that, spoiler alert, he is planning not only to marry Teresa, but to do it on TV.
And do you think anyone will watch that wedding?
I think there will be people who will watch it. I think what they're doing is trying to extract as much cash from the sponsors as they can.
Yes.
And they were probably packaging that in from the get-go. I don't know how. I don't want to be cynical.
Right.
I can't imagine it was kind of interesting to see that they're both planning to relocate.
Yeah, to Charleston.
Yeah.
Which that might be a good idea. That way you're not in her place or his place. You're starting fresh. But yeah. I don't know. I'm going to say I just don't know if it will last. I think she desperately wants it to last. I think she's really in love with him. I do. I just don't know about him. There's something I can't pinpoint it that I'm uneasy about with Jerry.
Well, let's walk through the episode because I followed along on X, which is now Twitter, just because I enjoyed seeing a live feed of people's reactions across the country and the world. So the first thing was when Leslie found out that she was no longer in the running.
Yes.
She let him have it. She gave it to him with both barrels and was like, you led me on. You really had me thinking I was your girl. And it was cringy and awkward how long it went on for. A little bit of that I would have enjoyed watching, but it kept on going. And he was getting berated and reacting kind of the way most dudes who are exactly what she was saying he was would react, which is just like, I don't know what to say to you right now.
Although I'm going to say what I've been saying since I watched that episode, I don't think he would have looked as much like a cad as if he wouldn't have told her he loved her.
True.
I think that women, no matter what your age is, no matter, you could be 20, you can be 15, you can be 65. When a man tells you he loves you, all bets are out the window. You think he means it because those are words that aren't really thrown around a lot. So I do feel for her in that respect.
I feel for her in every way.
Well, not so much.
Well, the writing of the vow, we'll get to that too.
Also, I mean, you're going on the Golden Bachelor. Watch previous Bachelor episodes. You know what I mean?
Don't put so much stock.
Don't put so much stock. And then please don't. I felt sorry for her because she was bringing up childhood trauma. And I'm like, you're 60 something years old.
She was making it about herself and how she never gets to be the one picked.
Right. And I just think how old is she? 65, 68?
Yeah, she's in her young 60s.
I just wish she would have left that out. Not that she shouldn't be her authentic self. I'm not saying that, but you need to work on yourself more if that's the reason you're so upset because you weren't picked. I mean, that's what The Bachelor's all about.
You're in a pick-me scenario.
Yes.
Most women,
yes.
You want to say to your best friend or your sister, don't ever enter into a pick-me scenario. If you are going into a new relationship and you're both just getting to know each other, that's fine. But if you know you're between one person or the other and it's a pick-me scenario, that's not healthy. That's toxic. Unless you're on The Bachelor, which is what you signed up to be a part of. Also toxic, but that's just my feeling after
watching it.
So fast forward to now, she has given it to him with both barrels once.
Right.
Now they're going to bring her back live, looking fabulous, may I
Oh,
say.
she looked amazing. I mean, amazing. I don't think any of them looked their best in Costa Rica.
No.
I think that is a place that you should be in a bikini the whole time you're there, or a bathing suit, or shorts and a tank top, not paying attention to hair and makeup. It's 100 degrees there, mosquitoes. I mean, I still can't get over the fact that Leslie had to go propelling off a mountain,
Right.
but Teresa got to go glancing through the streams of beautiful Costa Rica horseback. You know, to me, that is so unfair. I mean, and Leslie didn't want to propel off that mountain. She's like, I'm scared to death. I thought there were some things that just weren't fair, that I thought Leslie was a very good sport, but she looked amazing.
I liked that she got more of her words in after having seen the editing process, because she flat out said to him, the parts that everyone didn't get to see, you said some things to me. So she called him out.
Yep.
And what I really loved the most of the entire finale was all of the other bachelorettes, or women. I guess they're not bachelorettes unless they're picked to be one.
Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Jack's Pickleball Store. The end of the year is fast approaching, which means it's time to start looking for that perfect gift for the pickleball lover in your life. Located in San Marco here in Jacksonville, Jack's Pickleball Store has everything you need to play pickleball, except a court and an opponent. Pickleball paddles, clothing, books, even earrings so your loved one can strut their stuff on and off the court. Can't decide? A gift card is the perfect choice. Learn more at jackspickleballstore.com.
Rolling their eyes.
Well, I texted you and I said, oh my God, the eye rolling. I mean,
they had his number by the end. They were all through with him.
They were done. And Faith still was teary eyed.
Yeah.
And I mean, even my Joan, who I loved, looked like pissed off. I don't know. I mean, I felt like there was something they all knew about him, but they weren't telling.
Well, they all dodged a bullet.
Right.
Except Teresa.
Yes.
One thing we all knew going in, because the news media had it everywhere, was that Gary is not nearly the innocent that they made him out to be, and that he, 1 month after the loss of the wife, dated someone, moved her in. They were together for a few years.
Into the dream house.
Into the dream house. A month after they started dating.
Yes.
So then, you know, after a few months, she moves in. She has stories about him, like, for example, they were supposed to go to his high school reunion. He uninvited her and said, I can't take you looking like that. You've gained 10 pounds.
Yes.
Whether or not that piece of it is true, they have definitely done due diligence, some of these journalists, to see that, yes, indeed, this woman did move in. She was in a relationship with him.
And also, they say his job that he said he had isn't true.
He wasn't a restaurateur. He hadn't owned a restaurant in years. He was doing janitorial work, all of these different things.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's just something.
The whole thing was shady.
The whole thing. I think that they made him out to be a handsome man for his age, did some spray tanning. I don't know if that's his real hair. I just think they made him like your grandfather, like someone very sweet and old fashioned and a gentleman. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Are you?
No. From the beginning, I thought the spray tan was off-putting. I thought that doesn't look like a rugged guy that's out in the sunshine. That looks like, I wouldn't even be surprised if that lion tattoo was just a recent add-on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just to make him look like some kind of tough guy. I'd like to see some old pictures and see if that was something that he's always had. The other thing that was strange was when she said that she had written her vows. This is Leslie who says,
and picked out her dress.
I'd already, we had that night, and then I wrote my vows and picked out my dress. I'm sorry. You knew you were still only one of two.
And he was going to spend that night with somebody else.
And she's writing her vows.
Yeah.
So to me, that was a giant bomb that was like, he also dodged a bullet, perhaps. I wished she hadn't said that, because I feel like until that moment, at least on the social media pages I was looking at, it was just everyone on her side. But then when she said that, some people were like, whoa, calm down. This was the social media post that got me the most. It was from the Golden Bachelor. ABC posted this. We just know that Billy and Tony are looking down so proudly on these two. Billy is Teresa's late husband.
Yes.
Tony is the late wife. Do you really think that Tony and Billy are sitting there in heaven looking down at their widow and widower on the Golden Bachelor, just proud as punch? I highly doubt it.
I don't know what. I mean, I would like to see a picture of Billy. I haven't even seen anything about him, but I really think that I'm happy that if they stay together, I'm happy for them. Mm-hmm. But when he did that to her at giving her the rose and then like tricked her and acted like he wasn't picking her, I thought that was mean. With Teresa when he was up there, and she was in her gown and she looked like she was going to faint. I mean, honestly, she looked like she was going to pass out. I didn't think that was funny. I mean, did you find humor in that?
I just think he's not charming at all.
I know.
There's nothing charming about it.
Yeah.
So there was another moment in that show where Teresa is speaking and Gary is moving his lips to every word she's saying. Over on my own social media, I had taken a little video of it and I asked people, I said, what is this about? What is happening here? Is it that there's a teleprompter and he's reading along with her? Or maybe this is something people hard of hearing do. And a few people responded in each direction. When I mentioned there being a teleprompter, a lot of times there will be very discreet teleprompters in situations where you're recording for TV and maybe even though it didn't sound like she was reading anything prepared because she wasn't overly eloquent. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the way she was speaking, but it was very natural to me. So it didn't seem like she was reading a prepared speech on a teleprompter. But when I first saw him moving his lips along with her, I thought that happens sometimes. I've seen it in newsrooms where I've worked, where the teleprompter's up and one person is the one reading and the other one can't help themselves and their lips move along with it. Oh. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
The thing, though, that I also had read, and when I asked some people this, they confirmed that hard of hearing folks who do a lot of lip reading tend to move their own lips along with the others, much as you would if you were reading. Some people move their lips when they read.
Right.
If he was reading her lips, he could be moving his lips while he was reading them. Right. So to me, that's probably a little more likely.
Yeah. I think that's more the route, with him being hard of hearing and he's just used to reading people's lips. One thing I'm going to say that made Leslie come out smelling like a rose at the reunion was when he came out when she was there and before Teresa came out. And he said, you just weren't enough or you just weren't the one. Like he reiterated, like you just weren't good enough. He said something like that.
Said that.
And I was like, what a jerk.
That's a nice thing to say because I was like, you douchebag. Yeah. What the hell? Because, my husband has only watched the first ever episode, the second to last, and now this, right? So he just looked at me like what? I mean,
it was rude. It was rude.
It was terrible.
And that's when the ladies in the audience did all the eye rolling when he said that, because he acted like you just weren't good enough. And, haven't you taken that knife and twisted it enough?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like he wanted one last little twist of that knife. And I think it went on way too long. Way too long.
When I realized it was 2 hours and not just one, I about banged my head into a wall. I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah. Well, that's why I recorded it and fast forwarded through the commercials because it was way too long for, I think, the Golden Bachelor. And I do think they'll end up doing a Golden Bachelorette, which, I mean, just because I think that that's the next thing that happens. I really don't know.
I don't think it will be Leslie. I think she's too messy. I think she's too broken. I think people won't.
I think it'll be Joan.
I agree.
Or Faith.
Yes, I do. I just don't think it would be Leslie. I feel like people will feel like
enough
is
enough.
Torturous.
Yes, it's too torturous for her. One thing I will say, is I think these women did a fabulous job of showing that you're not dead after 60.
They did.
They had gorgeous legs, gorgeous arms. They didn't wear all stuff covered up like you think old ladies will wear. They looked stunningly beautiful. They took care of themselves. I think that's the part I liked the best, is that they kind of got rid of that notion that once you're over 60, you're done.
Now, the next adventure, since obviously TV producers have realized there is money in this kind of programming, is Candace Bushnell, who is the author of Sex and the City, is doing a unscripted, it's not a game show, but it's going to be some 50-something women dating, kind of like a reality show, but it won't be necessarily that it's a game show like the way The Bachelor is. So that's coming soon. It's called Is There Still Sex in the City?
Oh.
So that's coming next.
Like an HBO thing?
I'm not sure if HBO is picking it up as much as I'm not sure who's picking it up, to be honest with you. I just know that it's going to be these women in their 50s, and they will show them dating some older guys
and
some younger guys, and some, I guess, just right guys. I don't know what to expect. I texted you this, and your response was priceless, because it was exactly what was going through my mind. I can't. I need a break. I just need a break.
Right.
So we're taking a break.
Yes.
We're done for a while.
I'm emptying the cache in my brain like you do on your computer, because I've got to get that whole thing out of my brain.
Trash the whole recycle bin on.
Yes.
It's done. You've heard your last, I don't know if you've heard your last reference to the Golden Bachelor on this podcast, but certainly we're not going to be doing any more homework.
No.
I mean, if it came up organically, it's not taboo, but at the same time, I am thrilled to have my Thursday nights back.
Yes. And I would like to say, once again, I'm thrilled that there is life after 60.
That there is.
Yes.
And with all things that clog up your brain and rot it just a little bit, the Golden Bachelor and everything else, you can let it go.
And don't look back.